Yo, what's up, guys? I want to welcome you to this page, which is an interview with myself and my good friend and dating and seduction specialist, Jason Capital. And before I get started on the interview, I just want to take a second and tell you that you're fucking awesome. And I also wanted to give you a little hint of what you're going to learn on the call. So I suggest you go now, get a pen and a paper so you can write down some ideas and some thoughts you're going to have while you're on this call. So just a couple things you're going to learn is number one, you're going to get Jason's number one best line for getting laid. You're also going to learn 3 steps to literally have same night sex. So what that means is you're going to have 3 steps that Jason has used successfully and other guys, his clients have used successfully to take a girl from a bar and take her right home. Or, I mean, in Jason's case, it was even in a public place. So I don't want to give it away for you, but the story is awesome. You'll hear that on the call as well. And also, how to get with any girl, even if you think right now she's out of your league. So those are just 3 things, 3 huge things that you're going to learn in this value-packed interview, as well as many others, like how to get rid of your comfort zone, do epic shit. Jason is one of my great friends. He's awesome. I highly suggest you listen to the call, but do yourself a favor and go get a little pen and a paper so you can write down some of the stuff and thoughts you're going to have. Now, here is the call.
All right, what's up, guys? Ryan Magin here. Obviously, you know my voice, and if I had a video going, you'd know my pretty face right now. But I am here with one of my really, really good friends, and you may have heard of him. I'm sure you have because I talk about him all the time, and he's everywhere on the internet. It is the wonderful, the charming, the amazingly cool Jason Capital. Welcome to the phone call here.
Thank you for having me. I feel warm and cozy already.
You should. Are you driving in your the Maserati that you just got, or is it? I forget. You have nice stuff.
I do.
Or are you at home?
I'm at home. I'm outside the Capitol compound at the pool. I'm not in my Maserati because I don't own a Maserati. You're referring to the Aston Martin.
Yeah, I get them confused. I mean, they're both absurdly expensive and really nice. So how could I mess that up?
Yeah, and I may or may not be getting my dick sucked while this call is going on. Just throwing that.
And I'm sure. I mean, you're at the pool, and I have been at that pool, and you know, I mean, it may or may not be just like the Playboy Mansion with women walking around all the time. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave that out there. That's only for you guys to know. If you ever get the invitation to go there, I would highly suggest you do.
Yes, I'm in full agreement on that one.
All right, so I talked to you beforehand, and you had promised that you were going to give away the all-time best pickup line / scenario that you have for getting guys laid very easily without a lot of effort. So you have to mention that somewhere on the call. I don't know when you're going to do it, so you know we got to keep that. We got to keep everybody guessing there. But that you promised that you're going to give me that. So don't let me get on a rant and you get on a rant to forget to give my guys that information.
That will most certainly. I will bring it out on this call. I won't do it for anyone, Ryan, but you're my fucking man, and I really like your guys. So no question about it. It's happening.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started so we don't ramble on too much here because I don't want to take too much of your time, especially if you're getting your dick sucked. I mean, if you have to pause for a few minutes while that's happening, you know, go ahead. Do what you got to do. So give me a little, like, you know, obviously I know your story. I've been friends with you for a really long time. But just like the short Cliff Notes version of how you became the legendary Jason Capital. And by the way, he just released a product with a report called 365 blowjobs a year, which when you have that type of product in your arsenal, you know you're the man. So how did you become that guy?
Well, sad to say, I was not born that way. I wasn't gifted with any genetic amazing seduction talents or anything like that. So my story, just the really short version, I used to play college basketball. But for whatever reason, I've made a life's work out of being really bad at something, and then feeling really bad about being really bad, and then finding out the secrets or whatever it takes to become world class at that thing. So I was cut from my basketball team, 8th grade, and I come home and I'm crying, and I decide right there, my turning point, that I'm going to play college basketball. So I dedicated the next 7 years of my life just obsessed with basketball, man. 8 hours a day. I was a total gym rat, the gym rat from Michigan. Eventually got a scholarship to go play college basketball on the beach in Florida, which is my dream. Made that happen. Fortunately, the minute I got there, I realized I didn't even like playing basketball. What I really liked doing was setting huge goals and then achieving them. So I was there for 1 year. That was in St. Pete, Florida. And as fate would have it, that's where I met you and Elliot Holst. Eckerd College, about blocks away from Elliot's gym, which is awesome in its own right? Which is fortuitous.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So once I was there and I'm done playing basketball, I'm like, I don't really know anyone here in Florida besides Ryan, and I love you, Ryan, and your awesome purple hair, but I kind of want to go back home with my friends in Michigan. So I transferred back to Michigan State University, one of the top party schools in the country, and I go there, and there's this little secret that I'm ashamed to admit to anyone, which is I'm 20 years old, and I'm still a fucking virgin. Well, all my friends are Saturday morning after going out Friday night, they're all hungover, and they're all sharing stories about the girls last night, and I was sitting there quietly, and I'm like, I don't like this, right? The attention should be on me right now. It shouldn't be on anyone else. So I'm like, I got to do something about this. So I ended up just like going online, and I found this book called The Game, and it was really good. I read it in a day. I was fascinated, and I did some more research, and I got more tricks and routines and scripts and shit. And I remember one of the first nights I go out, and I'm feeling like James Bond because now I'm strapped. Right now I got fucking ammo with all these little routines. And one of them was called, I think it was called the 5 Questions Game. So first girl I talked to, I have all this confidence in routines, and in 10 minutes she's all over me. I did 5 questions on her probably 3 times. And there's 15 questions again now. And we're making out
over deliver.
As always, you know how I roll. But it's like we're making out after 10 minutes, and I'm in my mind I'm like, holy shit! 1, this is easy. 2, can't wait to tell the guys tomorrow. But I got really greedy really quickly. So, like, I'm making out with her, and I'm like, I'll be right back. And this is a bar called Rick's in East Lansing, which Ryan has actually been to before.
I know that well.
Ryan may or may not have walked around there in a Justin Bieber T-shirt and gotten picked up by a really hot chick. At Rick's in East Lansing.
Had 3 first dates. And had, like, 3 first dates in one night.
That's an incredible story that you're going to have to tell on stage at one of my events, my man.
I will.
It's such a good story. So anyways, Rick's is broken down into these 2 parts. There's like the dark side and the light side, like the part where dancing goes on and then the part where it's more talking and drinking. And I met this girl on the dark side, so I was like, I'll be right back, right? Because listen, I got all these new tricks now to sleep with girls and stuff. I'm like, I want to go use it, I got to test it out. You're the first one. So I go to the other side and I meet another girl and I give her 15 fucking questions, and 10 minutes later I'm making out with her. And as we're kissing, all of a sudden I feel a puddle in my lap. And I'm like, I've never had sex before, so I'm like, is this what it means? The girl gets wet? I didn't get it. And I looked down at my lap, and no, it's not fucking vaginal wetness. Some girl had just poured beer all over my jeans. And as I look up to see the culprit, it was the girl from the other side. The one who I just been making out with, and this girl that I'm currently making out with is her best friend. So, needless to say, it didn't work out with either of those girls, but I was hooked from that point on. So I literally spent the next, I'm 27 now, that was when I was 20, spent the last 7 years completely obsessed with learning everything humanly possible there is to know about female psychology, seduction, dating, relationships, communication, influence, all of it. And in that time period, that's all really fucking cool, but it's kind of become my mission in life to transform 1 million men into the most dominant, most attractive, most successful versions of themselves on the planet so they can go through the same kind of transformation that I did. And right now we're at about 200,000 guys whose lives have been forever transformed as a result of my work in almost 125 countries. And we're just getting started. So that's my background.
Technically, I think you are probably over 1 million if you add in the amount of people that I have helped, because technically there would be no handsome guy without Jason Capital. So I think you've hit that goal. I'll give you that credit.
If I hit it though, that means I got to find a new one. So I'm gonna keep going here for a little bit.
Well, I just rolled over 2 million views on YouTube, so I don't know. You do the math there.
Nice.
So, all right. So now that you guys know his story, and we've been friends for a really long time, so we have a lot of cool stories to share about us together. And I've witnessed a lot of everything that he just talked about, and stuff that he has in some of his higher end products and stuff he teaches his clients. I have seen it all in person, and it all works. But you guys don't believe that until you get some actionable content that you can take away today. So let's drop some value for these guys. And what do you think guys do wrong? What are the things that you think that guys don't need when it comes to getting laid? I feel like they on themselves. They think they have to be super attractive. They think they have to be jacked. They got to have abs. What's your take on that? What don't guys need when it comes to getting laid?
Okay, so I'll start, before I get to me, I'll start with my clients who I've seen get amazing results in an extremely short period of time with gorgeous women. So here's what they don't need, okay? You don't need to be tall. You don't need to have hair. You don't need to have abs. You don't even need to be lean. You don't need to dress well. You don't need to talk well. Girls, they don't even have to understand what you're saying. You don't need money. You don't need a dope car. You don't need a dope pad. And you don't even need a shower drain that works, okay? And the reason I say that, I'll tell you why in a second. But I had a guy
about that. I'm remembering why I remembered that.
So I had a client almost 5 years ago. I'm in Las Vegas teaching a seminar. His name was Mark. He was maybe 200 pounds and like 5'4". So he was a pretty stocky dude. He was bald. He had fucked up teeth. And he had an Australian accent that was so thick you could slice it with a knife. Like, you just couldn't understand what he said. So we have this whole seminar all day, and he goes out that night using some of the stuff that I teach inside 77 ways, and he comes back to seminar the next morning. He walks in 10 minutes late, and this man has $1 million smile on his face. So I stopped the seminar, and I'm like, what happened? Like, give it to us. Tell us what happened. And he goes, dude, I had my first threesome last night. And everyone in the room starts applauding him. We actually caught it on cameras on YouTube somewhere. But again, let's just recap, okay? 5'4", bald, fat, no money, no car, dresses like shit, can't understand what he says, teeth are fucked up. And he had sex with not one, but 2 girls that night. This was, before hitting on lady months before. So what we're teaching here works really quickly, doesn't take a lot of time, and you don't really need any of that shit to get laid. Now, I'll tell you about the shower drain real quick now. When I first moved to Santa Monica, California, and I'm 23, I weighed about 150 pounds, so I was skinny as shit. People thought I was a meth addict, which is just hilarious to me. I was that skinny though, like just super fucking skinny. I had acne. I was broke a month ago. I just moved out of my parents' basement. And best of all, the shower drain in my shower, the shitty apartment I was renting in Santa Monica, it didn't work. So for whatever reason, I like to cut my hair. I've always done it. Like, I buzz my hair, one on the sides, a little more on the top. So I would do that, and then I'd go take a shower. And what happens when you shower after you've gotten your hair cut? Well, of course, all the hair falls to the ground. And if you have a drain that works, it goes into the sewage. It's very simple. My drain didn't like me. For whatever reason, it never worked, and it was such a cheap apartment, they wouldn't fix it. So the floor of my shower just looked like a lion had shed all the time. Like, it was like there was like a fur carpet on the floor of my shower. And just to show you how much these things don't matter, I would take girls back. This was in my more evil days, but I would take girls back to that shower, and I'd bend them over so they'd be on all fours on the shower drain, covered in my hair, which who knows what they thought it was, or they thought it's pubes or hair or whatever. Who the fuck knows, right? And I'd have sex with them right there, okay? And then they'd happily thank me, and they'd leave right after. So all the things that you think are needing you, they're just bullshit excuses. You don't need them to get laid.
Wow, that was a lot of information just packed in about 4 minutes, I felt like. So back on so why do you think guys are attached to these things? Why do they just assume that they need all these things? Like, what do you think's going on with their mindset there? Like, why do they be like, I can't do anything because I'm just not jacked, or
sure,
I don't have the money to dress well, or I don't have the my teeth are crooked. Like, why do you think guys feel like that? What is the pressures on?
Who else? Like, how would a supplement company make money? What could they be selling if guys didn't think they needed to have more muscles to get laid? Like, how would Armani and Calvin Klein and expensive clothing stores, how else would they make money? What would they say in their commercials and sales pitches if they couldn't tell you need this to get laid? That's really what all the marketing is at its core. Look at shreds on Instagram. You look at all this stuff. That's all they're selling you is this is the magic pill, the magic jacket, the magic supplement, the magic car, the magic house, whatever. That's just going to make you sexually powerful and sexually attractive to women and get laid when you want. So it's very simple. You have been led to believe your entire life that you need all these things in order to really sleep with the hottest girls. And the truth is, that's just what advertisers have been trying to tell you your whole life. That doesn't make it true. The truth is you don't need any of those things to get laid. And once you start hanging out with people who prove this to you over and over again, aka being friends with dudes who get laid really easily without relying on any of that shit, it becomes incredibly evident to you. You can't go back. It's like taking the red pill. You've seen it. It's just that's how things are.
That's totally true. And I think a lot of guys, they just want to sabotage themselves too. Like, I mean, we have a tendency to make things a lot more difficult than they actually are, when in reality, simplicity usually always wins out. And I feel like that with getting laid. Guys trip over their own feet to come up with excuses as to why they just can't talk to a girl. And if they just walked up and said hello, 9 times out of 10, that'll work.
It's unbelievable. That's why, like, when guys ask me questions, what about text girls? I don't tell them what to text, because the truth is, texting is fucking stupid. You don't need it to get laid. You're wasting your time if you're just a fucking text buddy with the girl. The only thing that my text phone will ever say when I'm texting a girl is literally, it's the only text I ever send. And Ryan will tell you this because I do it with guys too. All I say is, what are you doing right now? Because when you ask that, you get straight to the point. You're going to, like, you don't just invite the girl. You're going to find out what she's doing, and whatever she's doing, I'm going to tell her that my thing is better. So she says she's busy. I'm like, great, you can leave your friends and come with me. Or if she says she's not doing anything, I go, great, then here's what we're doing. But I do it with everyone, right? And of course, when someone texts you, what are you doing right now? You look at your phone, you read that text. You're like, shit, what do they have? What are they doing? What's going on? It makes you curious. So it works on many levels. So, like, texting is fucking stupid. You don't need that. And just a quick point about what you're saying, Ryan, it's 100% true. And the problem is that people are afraid to change, right? Once you're in your comfort zone, you don't want to leave. You tell us, I got clients, they tell me they want to change, Jason. Jason, I want to get rich. Jason, I want to get rich. Jason, I want to sleep with hotter girls. And I look at them and I'm like, no, you don't. Fuck you. No, you don't. You're lying to me. Because when I tell you what to do, and the actions you must take in order to achieve those things, become that person who gets those things, you don't do them. Because on a primal, like, subconscious level, you know you and your entire life will be forced to change if you're going to get those things, and change is scary. And you're not alone, okay? This is something I've battled with for a long time, and even at the level I'm at now, I still want to keep getting better, so I have to keep overcoming this natural urge as well. I remember when I was like 23 and I'm building my business, and I'm at a point where my goal from the start was to make $1,000 a day in my business. And I got there within less than a year. So I'm making $1,000 a day, and I'm like, fuck this. I want to make $100,000 a month. That's better. Let's do that, right? So I'd be sitting at my computer, let's say it's like 2, and I know I got to, I don't know, write some sales copy or create some new content or whatever it is, the actions that I must take in order to get to the place I want to get to. And I'm sitting at the computer, and instead of doing the thing, it's right in front of me. I could just do it, and then do it for a repeated number of days, like a few months in a row, and then I'm making the money I want to make. But instead of just doing it, I'd get up, and I'd go to my fridge just to see what's in there. Okay? Now, here's the thing. I live alone, or I lived alone then. I know what's in my fucking fridge. I'm the only one who goes grocery shopping. I'm not going to discover like a human baby in there or something. I know what's in the fridge. Why do I keep going to the fridge? Because I'm avoiding taking action. Another thing I used to do is I'd go to the bathroom mirror and I'd look for little pimples to pop. Just to do that for no fucking good reason except that I don't want to do the things necessary to achieve what I want to achieve, because on a primal level, I know I'm going to have to change. I know things are going to have to change. I'm going to have to get outside my comfort zone. And that's fucking scary. So no matter what you're doing, where you are right now, you're at a point A, and there's a point B you want to get to. And it will be the only thing that will stop you from getting there, because in this call and everything that me and Ryan are teaching you, we're going to tell you the steps and the strategies to get there. The only thing that will stop you is you. That's just a demon you're going to have to dominate and annihilate on your own, which you can.
And that's so true, because at your event, just speaking on comfort zones at your event, I spoke on the pre-dates. What was it, like there's like 50 people there or whatever. And the first thing I started out was when I talked was, how many people watch me on YouTube or have invested in any of my products? And 48 people out of 50 raised their hand. I remember there was only 2 guys on the front that didn't know who I was. And after the event, they then subscribed and bought some products. So I was like, now they know who I am. But the point of being was, out of all those 50, there was maybe 2, I'm going to say 3 guys that looked like they bought one of my products, actually went to the store, bought exactly what I said, and are now wearing it, getting results. And those same 2 guys came up to me after and were like, dude, I wore this exact outfit. I wear it all the time. I always have girls come up to me. I always get compliments. I've gotten laid so many times because I look better than everybody else. But what the fuck were the 46 others doing? Like, what were they doing? I can't blame the two guys that didn't know about me yet, but like, what, everybody wants to sabotage themselves, and I think I do it all the time too. Same thing that you say. Like, I find excuses to freaking go to check YouTube stats for no reason at all. Like, I know they haven't changed in fucking 12 minutes, but I'm gonna look again, and then it's like, fuck, what am I doing? I need to just go out there and film more videos. Or I need to go out, So I think it's a primal nature. We all just want to stay in these little shitty places until we just say fuck that, and then don't do it anymore.
Yeah, well, if you think back to caveman days in our primal times, once we had enough food and we had shelter in the caves, there was no reason to leave the caves. There wasn't like we could go out and there's like a new movie out or some shit like that. That didn't exist. Our whole goal was just to get to a place of homeostasis, a place of like everything's cool. I don't need to do anything, so we just chill in the cave. It goes against your programming to be like, I'm making $30,000 a month right now and everything's cool. It's completely against your programming to be like, let me fuck all this shit up and get to $100,000 a month. You're gonna have to battle against that your whole life, and that's what's cool about that is that's the shit that makes you stronger, that makes you grow, that makes you better.
Yep, and then that's the journey. That's like what everybody's like, oh, you're an overnight success. It's like, well, no, I battled this for about 7 years, and now I'm a success. This is awesome, right? So go about your overnight success. Hopefully that works out for you.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. So, I mean, that was a lot of freaking knowledge right there, just about comfort zones, and we both talk about those a lot because I feel like it's just what held so many guys back in their whatever they're trying to do, whether it be getting laid, whether it be even dressing well. To me, I think just going out and buying an outfit is very easy. I don't know why guys stop, but you tell them to put on skinny jeans, and it's like the fucking world ends. Like, so let's talk about some stories. I know you got some good stories. How effective is what you teach? Because I know you lead by example in everything you do, and that's one of the things I admire about you, and especially since I've met you. It's like when you say you're going to do something, you just fucking do it. So what's some crazy stories? So, for those listening, he has a product called 77 Ways to Make Her Want to Fuck You, which is, I mean, the name in itself is amazing, and the product is highly effective if you guys use it. But what type of strategies, and if you're going to get actually a really special deal on that at the end of this interview, but let's talk about stories. So what have you done? Like, what's some crazy shit? Like, I know one Santa Monica story that's actually really fun, if you want to tell that one to my people. It involved a parking garage and me sleeping in a car.
I totally forgot about that one. Fuck it. Let's talk about that right now real quick then.
Yeah, let's do that one. Let's do that.
So,
to be fair, I had access to women that night as well. I just chose to sleep in the car.
So this was, I don't even know when, but Ryan was visiting me in Santa Monica. And it was like a Tuesday night or something like that. It was like a slow night, and we're just hanging out. And back then, we would try to go out every night. So Tuesday night, 8 p.m., yeah, of course, let's go out and get drunk. So my brother was a bartender at a place called Brick and Mortar in Santa Monica. So we head down there, and we're just eating fucking kale salad and chicken. It's delicious. They have a great kale salad, by the way. You ever go to Brick and Mortar?
They did. I didn't like kale salad.
It was amazing. Yeah, and of course, one of the benefits of your brother being a bartender is, one, he gives you free drinks, and two, all the other bartenders there know you, and they give you free drinks. So we're just sitting there trying to be decent human beings as these degenerates keep feeding us shot after shot after shot, and they're mixing it with like weird tequila orange juice shots and glasses of red wine, and we're just, I don't know, we're getting pretty lit. And it's like 10 p.m., and I just remember this girl just like saunters over to us, and she sits down, and she's like clearly wine drunk, and she's asking us questions and whatever. And we're both very annoyed by her. That's what I remember. She was cute, but we were very annoyed. Which, by the way, is a great little like fun and challenging position to take with a girl. You'll tolerate her, but you're just so annoyed by her. Which is how it was. So we're talking to this girl, and I don't know, maybe 30 minutes into this her just waiting there, I get this weird idea with Ryan. I'm like, yo. And by the way, this is something that's not like we've ever done before. We were just drunk and I was fucking around, but I was like, yo, let's both fuck this girl aside. And Ryan's like, shit, okay. So we're like, all right, cool. So we're like talking with her, and we're just like normal conversation. No tricks have been planted, no seeds have been planted, or anything. And about 11, one of the key things you want to do if you want to get laid in the same night is the more locations you can take the girl to, the more effective your communications, your your requests, your leadership is going to be, she's just going to follow you. The more you can get her to follow you at the start with little baby steps, the more she's going to follow you later with bigger steps. So there was a bar like a block away. It was called, it was like a Victorian house. It was like in a basement. It was weird, Santa Monica. If anyone's from out there, you know what I'm talking about. So we bounced there. So I remember we walked there and we're drinking, and we're hanging out down there, and I'm making out with her, and then Ryan made out with her. And then at some point, I don't know what happened. She caught like a weird vibe, and she kind of just moved towards me. And Ryan, being the fucking really experienced guy he was like, whatever, don't give a shit. He disappeared. And I think for some reason he like ended up talking to these two lesbians at the bar for like hours after that, just like hitting it off with them.
I did. I remember that. I was always like, I would always try, like I would always like have a good game, and then if it wasn't working out, I'd be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go get drunk.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm just gonna go find lesbians to talk to. you have lesbian radar. You're just a magnet for cool lesbians. It's weird.
Yeah, for cool. And they were cool. They're always cool. They're always like the mini Justin Biebers, you know.
I remember one of them told you, she was like, yo, that's straight, I'd fuck you. which is amazing. Anyways,
so while I was doing that, what were you doing?
Yeah. So I was talking to the girl, and here was the dilemma I was facing in that moment. I didn't like bringing girls back to my apartment in Santa Monica. One, because, I was kind of ashamed of it because it was a shitty apartment. I didn't really have a lot of money then. But two, mostly because I didn't like having to kick them out. It was just such a fucking hassle. So what I decided to do instead was, the thing I did in Santa Monica a lot, was just hook up with girls in public places that were like kind of dark and cornered. So we leave this bar, and we're walking down the street, and she tells me she lives nearby, and I'm thinking, I don't want to see this fucking girl's place. It's probably a piece of shit, probably Hello Kitty everywhere. I don't want to go there. and I'm like, I don't want to bring her to my place because she, whatever, I'm not bringing her there. And I'm with Ryan, so I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna let this one go, right? I don't really care. So as we're walking towards the car, we're like a block away. I see this parking garage up ahead, and it's still lit, and I can see it's kind of empty. There's a couple cars there, but it's kind of empty. And it dawns on me, this might be the perfect place to have sex with this girl. So what I would do, and this is something that we talk about in 77 Ways, but one of my favorite lines was always to ask the girl, before I would make any type of leadership request or like, come, we're going to do this or whatever, or take her on an adventure, I would always ask, hey, are you a spontaneous person? Okay, because once someone says yes, I'm spontaneous, immediately, of course, you follow up with a spontaneous request. They're 10 times more likely to comply because they just told you, right? I'm spontaneous. So I say this to her, she says, yeah, and I go, come here, we're going to go in that parking lot right there. And I hold up my hand and I grab her and lead her, and I just started leading her there. And as I'm doing it, I look back to Ryan and I'm like, yeah, I'll meet you at home. Like, I'll figure it out or whatever. So I take her into this parking garage, and I remember that she she rips off my pants, I rip off hers, and before we start sleeping together, she pulls a condom out of her purse. She's like, no, you gotta wear that. And I'm like, okay. And then, of course, in the back of my mind, I'm like, fuck, how many guys does this girl fucking parking lot? It's like, fuck. Whatever. So I step it on, and we do that for a while, and then I remember there was people walking behind us, and I put her behind a car, didn't care. But it was great, right? It's a fun night, right? It's a fun, innocent night. So she leaves when we're done, and I go back out into the streets of Santa Monica feeling one like a champion and two like a degenerate, and I'm kind of still drunk. And I look out to the car thinking, I'm going to have to get a taxi now. I don't know, I'm going to get a fucking taxi at 3 a.m. And the car is still there. And who else is in the driver's seat but Ryan waiting for me? Okay? Now, if that's not the sign of an amazing friend, I don't know what is. Now, it is important to note, of course, he was asleep in the car, okay? But he was still there, and he was still waiting, and I woke him up, and I gave him a hug. I was like, dude, that's amazing, and he drove me home. But, that was one of those nights that was just one of our epic nights.
It was just so random, because it was a Tuesday.
So random. Who has sex in a parking structure on a Tuesday with a girl they just met? Crazy.
And like you said, the fact that she had condoms with her might have been a red flag, but, it makes for a great story.
That was the thing. I'm always when I'm figuring out, should I do this or not, half the time I'm just well, is it going to make a great story later? And if it is, and I'm like, fuck it. Let's do it. It's worth it. So here's one other story related to that, that I think should be helpful for everyone. And in it, there is a line in here. This isn't the line, I guess we'll get to that right after the story. But there's a line in here that's extremely powerful on a deep psychological level in terms of seducing women. So this is when I was back in Michigan. I was visiting home, and I'm with my brother out there. And whenever we're in Michigan sucks, right? So we're just like, there's nothing to do. We just stay inside all day and sleep, and then go out and get hammered all night and party. So we're out there, and Jordan, my brother, knew this girl who was from Michigan, and she meets us out, and she brought this friend who was really hot. So I remember we're talking, and it slips out in the conversation that she was NFL cheerleader for the Detroit Lions, actually. So I like rack my brain, and I'm like, NFL cheerleader? Nope, never had one of those. Guess what? This is gonna have to be mine. I'm gonna have to take this one. So I set the goal in my mind right there. I was like, I want this one, right? So we end up, doing the whole like attraction, flirting, teasing thing. It's all very like the same stuff you'll hear me talk about in every newsletter, every video. But here was the key kicker. Okay, that was at like, I don't know, 10 p.m. At like 1, I find her again, and she's with this guy, and he's like such a fucking beta, low status loser, wearing the exact uniform that Ryan would hate, right, with the collared shirt and the whole like the khakis, the exact outfit that tells girls you have no idea how to have sex well. So I go up next to her, she's talking to him, and I'm on one side and he's on the other, and he's like leaning onto her and I'm like leaning away from her, and she tells me, she's like, hey, there's this guy, he's been calling me for a long time, I told him just to meet me out, but like I'm just being nice to him, I don't really like him. So when she told me that, I'm like, okay, so she is just really concerned about my approval and not losing me, so like I'm kind of good to go, right? So she talked to me for a couple more minutes. I left, and I come back like 10 minutes later, and now she's by herself, and she's telling me how he is this guy who just like, he's always wanted her. He's always been attracted to her, and he came that night to tell her how much he cares about her and how deep his feelings are for her and how he knows she's such a sweet girl and that they're meant for each other. The whole fucking speech, okay? So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, God, could you make this any easier for me? So she finishes, and I look at her, and I'm like, listen, it's clear to you that he is right, okay? There is this good girl side to you, okay? But there's also this bad girl side to you, and it's so obvious to me, it's probably obvious to you, that the bad girl is constantly beating the good girl, constantly winning. So maybe, like, I don't know, just for like a night, why don't you stop fighting it and just let the bad girl do what she wants? And the look in her eyes, it was like a beast had been set free from its cage. She just attacked me, takes me to the dance floor. We're making out. She throws me against the wall. She bends over with her NFL cheerleader ass in my dick. It's great. We're like hooking up outside the bar. And it even happened. Here's the best part about the story. This is why it's better than just a normal story. We're making out outside the bar, and I have like pictures of it because apparently we were going at it pretty hard. But all of our friends, including my brother, had gone to like a place called Coney Island, which is like half a mile away. And we had no way of getting there. So I'm like, logistically, I don't even know how I'm going to sleep with this girl. I'm just like having fun. But this cop car pulls up, and I'm like, shit, we just going to get in trouble for basically public indecency. But she knows the cops, and they know her. And I can tell they're like more beta males in love with her. So she's like, hey, our friends are at Coney Island. Can you give us a ride? And they're like, yeah, sure, hop in. So I'm left with this dilemma, like, okay, should I go with this NFL cheerleader who's obsessed with me and sleep with her? But that means hopping voluntarily into the back of a cop car at 2 a.m. drunk. Or do I just let this one go? So again, is this going to be a good story? Yes, it is. Okay, I say yes. I hop in the back of the cop car. So I'm away to there. I see them driving ahead, and I have my fingers inside of her in the back of this cop car, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm drunk as shit on Vodka Rebel with my first NFL cheerleader with 2 fingers inside of her while 2 cops drive me to get food. This is one of the coolest moments of my life. So they drop us off. Beautiful. Before we go in the restaurant, I'm like, where can I hook up with this girl? Because I don't see anywhere. I'm looking around. The only thing I see is a post office, the Royal Oak Post Office in Michigan, where there's mail trucks in a line. The only place I see where we're going to be hidden is in between 2 mail trucks. So I pull her between 2 fucking mail trucks and have sex with her right there. Then we go into Coney Island, and we eat food, fill up on calories, and go home.
Hell yeah. Sounds like a great fucking night.
One of those nights, man.
Well, so the big takeaways from the first story were like just a bullet point. Like, what are like 3 things a guy can do to recreate that? So basically, I know one of them is go to a bunch of different places. Like, keep her traveling. What are like 2 other quick points that they?
So another one that is huge and will always be huge is leading. You have to be the leader. You have to lead. You have to constantly be leading, and she needs to keep being the one who is reacting to your leadership. She is reacting to you. If you're not reacting to her, you're leading. You're fucking certain. You're moving. You're leading her places. You're going here. You're going there, and she's following you. Okay, if you get into that rhythm, she's going to end up going where you go at the end of the night. It's very simple. So that's the other one. Like, we have this magical text message that we always talk about on Team Capital where I tell everyone, text it to your friend. If you've seen with the girl and she's interested but he's not pulling the trigger, we always text each other, lead, 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 in all caps. Okay? I was in Vegas a few months ago at Wet Republic for a pool party, and one of my copywriters, who is our buddy Mike, was out there, and he was with this girl. Mike's a young kid, right? He's a young kid. I think he's 21. He's an awesome kid, but he's 21, right? So he doesn't necessarily know all this stuff or have this experience. And he's with this girl who's, I think she's 29 or 30, really cute girl. And they've been talking for like an hour, and I'm looking at that, and I'm like, bro, like, because if you wait too long, you're gonna miss the window, right? Girls, like at the peak of the emotional state, that's when you got to hit it. So when she's really into you, you can't be like, all right, I'll sleep with her tomorrow, because tomorrow she's not going to be attracted to you. You got to hit it now. So I texted him. I'm like, all I said, okay, lead, lead, lead. Forgot about the text, talking to other girls. I checked 10 minutes later, come back, and they're gone. So I sent him a text. I'm like, where are you at? And he goes, back at the room, smiley face. So always.
I'm leading.
Always,
leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm leading, bro. Let me
So we have leading, we have move locations, and what's the third one so guys can put that one into play?
Okay, so the third one is just know what kind of, let's say, character that you're playing, what kind of role you're playing with the girl. And it's good to predetermine it before you even go out with her. So like I talked about when me and Ryan were sitting there and she comes over and talks to us, we have the annoyed but will tolerate you frame. Okay, that's an attractive frame. That's a higher status frame for a guy to play. Other ones I really like is the we're not sleeping together frame. Like, we're not going to sleep together tonight frame. There's no way you can seduce me. There's no way you're going to take me home tonight frame. And you keep teasing her with that. Another one is she's like the bratty or annoying little sister, and you treat her that way. Just know what kind of role you're playing where you're in the higher status position and she's in the lower status position. So those are the 3 keys that are just going to, you just do that, man. And then at its core, okay, like, we're in this call. I don't have time to go into every little detail that I teach all my guys that have changed their lives. But having this underlying feeling, this underlying state of indifference or nonchalance, or I could take it, I could leave it, I don't really give a fuck, I'm here more for the story. If you're coming from that place, you're going to be irresistibly, magnetically, unstoppably attracted to women. And the stories that I've been telling you here and the stories Ryan could be telling you here are going to be the same kind of stories you're going to be telling your buddy 6 months from now.
So, and then just one cool tip from the cheerleader, because that seems to be, if I'm like a regular guy, listen to that, like, what's the best tip you have for like going for a girl? I mean, obviously I know you can reframe this, but because most guys like, what's your tip for like going for a girl that's like seemingly maybe way out of your league? Like, guys like, oh my God, that's you know, a fucking Hollywood A-list celebrity. Like, what would you want with me? Like, because that's a block that they're going to have. Like, what's the way that they can get over that to go after a girl that they would deem, you know, out of their league?
Sure. Let me think. One tip that has to do with that. Here's one thing that'll be really important. And I want to make it tactical. I don't want to make it mindset, because I could tell you, and a lot of people could tell you, like, don't put her on a pedestal. Don't think just because she's hot that she doesn't like to have sex or any of that shit, because all those things are true, right? You're the fucking man. She's just a random ass girl. Don't worry about that. But in terms of like tactical, one thing that's really good is whatever she's so proud of that she thinks makes her awesome. So, for instance, if you're out there in 2016, 2017, and she thinks she's awesome because she has a lot of Instagram followers or Snapchat followers, or in my case, she's an NFL cheerleader or whatever it is, very subtly make that worthless. and then continue the conversation. So that one thing that she has that's her crutch for being awesome, that one leg of the table that's holding her up, you knock it down, and now she's back to reality. So, for instance, if it's Instagram, she has a lot of followers, just casually mention in the conversation how silly it is, that people think they base their whole self-worth and self-esteem and self-confidence based on how many Instagram followers and how many likes or comments their last picture got. Isn't that so stupid? She goes, yeah, and now she's got nothing, right? Or maybe you just read a study that showed that 98% of people who post on Instagram more than once a day are destined to, be broke for their whole life. You could just, whatever, you can go on Google, you can find whatever the fuck you want to find. But that's the key. So if she's an NFL cheerleader, and she's telling me that, and she's got all these practices, and they go on the private jet when they fly to games, and she's telling me all this stuff, and, whatever it is, I might say something like, how many games did the Lions win last year? And she's like, well, they went 3-13. Okay, so now it's okay, cool, you're an NFL cheerleader, but for one of the worst teams in the NFL, right? So it's you take the power away from the thing that she thinks is so cool, and you take control of the conversation again.
That was dope. So let's not end the value there, but let's so you have one of your books is a bestseller, or is named a really prestigious award, huh? Can you tell me about that?
Sure, dude. I don't know if I like the tone that you say that with, Ryan, but I will tell you about it because I'm proud of shit about it. And all the guys worldwide.
Actually, I'm very proud of it because out of all your products that I have all of them, I've been through all of them, I've seen them in person. It's my favorite one, and that's why I say it, because you know what? It's the product that I wish I made deep down. So I'm damn, that would be an awesome product to have in my arsenal, because it even the title of it just kind of offends people. It's kind of dirty, but it's awesome. That's what I love about it.
I love it too. It's I gotta describe it. It's like my firstborn. It really is. It's that product. It's that book. It's that one that every guy reads and every guy should read. So it was recently named the #1 sexual escalation book in the world. This is actually the third year in a row that we got that award. And that's really fucking cool, just because sexual escalation is an issue a lot of guys have. They dress well, they carry good conversations, they can attract women, but just taking that final step from good vibes and good conversation to you and her alone in your bedroom, and her just she can't get enough of you under the sheets, that to me is that final frontier for a lot of guys, and this book solves that problem. So that's what that's about.
And the name of it is 77 Ways to Make Her Want to Fuck You. If you didn't catch that earlier in the interview, just because, and just so people, I know people tend to get skeptical. What are they getting for that? It's on sale. It's on sale right now you're celebrating the award, for the third year, and it's 50% off, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's half price right now.
That's correct. So I'm sure there'll be a link with this call. Your viewers can click on it, can check out all the details about the book, and when they get there, they'll see a countdown timer, which will let them know how much longer the book will be 50% off as well. And that's something we've done the last 2 years, and I was we got the award again. Just because we got it 2 years in a row doesn't mean we shouldn't celebrate it for the third year in a row. So we take it from $77 just to $38.50, 50% off, just to celebrate the award and kind of raise awareness about the book, because there's no fucking reason. I don't care if you're 18 or 68, man. You should have the power to get laid with the girls you want, when you want, how you want. And that's what this book does.
Fuck yeah. And it really, we can leave it at that, because it is a really, really good product. It's definitely worth, it's worth full price. Even if it wasn't on sale, but it's just a really, really, what I like about, going through it is it's very easy to implement too. It's scenarios. It's very, all your products are very easy to understand. They're really well produced. I don't know what produce an ebook. It sounds weird to say that because it's still digital, but they're very well put together. They're easy to read, and they just fucking work, man. Your advice, out of anybody, your advice just always works. Whether it be business, success, mindset, dating, pickup, I'm just glad you're my friend. I got said,
Well, dude, you know what? When I was 20 years old, and I saw that Elliot Holtz had a gym right near mine, and I was I'll go train there. And I walk in, and I see you doing deadlifts with your purple hair,
This is
And I don't
way
know
before
anyone.
Team Handsome guy.
Yeah, and I walk in, I'm doing deadlifts, and I'm just like, the thing was, I was 20, I was shy still, I was still a virgin, and you were the one who said, "Yo, what's up? How can I help you?" Like, you initiated a conversation, you brought me in, you made me feel like comfortable, and that, that was huge, man. We've been like fucking bros ever since. So,
we have
your
been.
mother. I don't know.
Well, cool. So yeah, I mean, there was a ton of information on this interview. I know we've talked about like 35, 40 minutes now. I don't want to go too long, because people's attention spans are short. But everybody listening to this, if you made it this far, you definitely need to buy 77 Ways. You're just missing out. Even if you just go tonight and try out a couple of those things that Jason just shared with you on the call, come back tomorrow before the timer ends and buy the book. Because if his free shit works, his fucking paid shit does. And it's all fucking good. So definitely, check it out. I don't want to pitch too hard because it speaks for itself. It's won the award for 3 years in a row. And you're probably seeing myself and a lot of other top guys in the industry promoting it. That's because it's really good. Not everybody gets behind a singular product at the same time if it's not good. So you should take that into consideration as well. And I may even throw in a cool bonus if I can make one tomorrow. So for those listening, if there's a bonus on this page, you got lucky because I'm giving you some free shit just for getting Jason's product.
Cool, man.
Well, cool. Well, like I said, man, I appreciate you coming on this, little impromptu interview / story time, whatever you want to call it. But I always love getting on the calls with you because I know you always bring the value to my audience and my people, and they should follow you as well. So I appreciate your time.
Cool. I have nothing to add to that. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
So, what's up, guys? Ryan here again. I hope you guys enjoyed that call with myself and Jason. We spent a lot of time putting that together and tried to do our best and drop some massive value. So, as you heard on the call, Jason has one of his flagship products, 77 Ways to Make Her Want to Fuck You. It's on sale right now for 50% off. So if you're interested in grabbing that product, if you like the information that Jason shared, I highly suggest you check it out. And you will also grab my special bonus, which you will see listed over on the side of this video. So do that. This is a limited time offer. I believe it's going for about 5 days. So depending on when you're seeing this video, there'll be a countdown timer on the page that will let you know when it's done. So yeah, check it out. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is below. If you're on this page, you'll see my bonus information. Click the button underneath all that. I'm sure you can figure that out. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview, and I hope you guys took some notes. Talk to you later. Peace.